In this video, I'm going to walk you through the exact system that we installed for one of our clients that generated $2.2 million worth of pipeline in just 90 days. I'm going to walk you through how we were able to generate 17 qualified, turned up, showed meetings with Fortune 100 companies. For my US listeners, that's the top 100 companies in the UK, with direct decision makers, with key stakeholders in those businesses, generating $2.2 million worth of pipeline and over $250,000 worth of closed revenue within just those 90 days. I'm going to walk you through the 6-step framework that by the end of this video, if you watch all the way through and you've got your notepad and paper and you've made notes, you'll be able to steal this system and install it directly in your business. Let's go. Step 1. This is probably the most key part of this entire thing. It underlies everything that we do moving forward. It determines your go-to-market. It determines how we move forward. And this is your ICP definitions, your ideal client profile. So this is the matching criteria that you're looking for in a customer or a client. So this could be things from industry, company size, revenue range, target personas. It's going to feed everything downstream. If you get this wrong, nothing else is going to matter because you're going to be doing everything else wrong. You need to get this right, okay? So spend a lot of time looking at your previous sales calls, looking at your closed won deals, and refining your ICP criteria to the point where it's almost overly granular. Step 2, and this is also very important, and it follows directly from step 1. This is mapping your entire addressable market, your TAM, your total addressable market. What we want to be doing is pulling companies that match your ICP from multiple sources, enriching them with firmographics, the tech stack, the headcount, the funding status. The output here is a full qualified account list. And this is super important because it's going to, again, determine everything downstream. It's going to determine what go-to-market we can go after. It's going to determine the strategies, and it's super, super important. This is why it's important to have a very tight ICP, so then you can create a very tight TAM and have a full understanding of what your market looks like, of what your go-to-market looks like, and what the future potential of the company looks like. We use Clay to do this, pulling account lists, making sure that we're using all of the firmographics and the filter tools to narrow that down, and then using the AI tools within Clay to double check that definitely matches the criteria. And anything specific, so maybe you need something specific within a company to match your TAM, we can check that within Clay as well. So super important to do. Once we've got all the accounts, then we can map the personas. Now, the reason that this is so important moves into step 3 here, and this is where you make a decision, okay? You either move down the automated outbound route, so this is step 4, or move over to step 5, and this is the signal-led ABM. And the question that you need to be asking yourself here is, what is the size of my TAM? And you know this because you've mapped it in step 2. Okay, so super important. Most companies that I speak to completely overestimate the size of their TAM. They think that their TAM is much bigger than it is because they've been told by VCs, talk to ChatGPT or something. Okay, that can maybe give you the total amount of companies that exist, but it's not necessarily the total amount of companies that you can, 1, pull using lead sources like Apollo, whatever, and 2, find verified contact information for the people in those companies that you want to go after. So if you're after running your TAM experiment is less, I would say, than 15,000 accounts, okay, I would leave automated outbound to the wayside. And the reason I say that outbound now, so cold email, is essentially an advertising channel where you're going to be converting a very small percentage of those people, maybe 1% reply rate, maybe off the back of that, 30% of those to be positive replies, depending on your target industry that you're going after. At a level where your TAM is 15,000 people, it's not really worth setting up the infrastructure because the reply rates will be so low. You're not going to be getting the positive reply rates worth going after. Now, if your account list, I would say, is above 50, 100,000, if you've got 1 million accounts, if you're a business that can sell to anybody, you should absolutely be focused on Playbook A, okay? So what does Playbook A look like? Well, we've got a map TAM, but we've done that already in Clay. We've got verified prospect information. We're using Prospero or another tool in the market to do that, and then we're double checking it with a tool like BounceBar. Now, the only 2 things that really matter within cold outbound, so automated and cold email, especially at scale, if you're sending 500,000 to 1 million cold emails a month, is deliverability, so the infrastructure that you're using, and your offer. They're the only 2 things that really matter at this level. Now, deliverability. You want to be using private infrastructure providers, something like Hypertide, that you can go in, get a quote from, and say, look, I want to send this number of emails per month. They'll tell you this is what you need to do. This is the infrastructure that you need to. They will handle everything for you. You put the order in there. It means that you're not messing around with anything technical, setting up DNS settings and wasting your time. Just go with these guys. Let them handle it for the experts do it. At this level, you don't want messing up because you'll be spending a significant chunk of money or budget to get this infrastructure set up. Then you're going to need a email sending platform, something like Instantly, Smart Lead, something else in the market, whatever you like, okay? You're going to load that infrastructure into the sending platform and you're going to warm it up for at least 2 weeks. You could probably do a little bit longer these days, or you could buy aged infrastructure, meaning that you'd warm it up for as long an amount of time, okay? Get it into the email sending platform, warm it up, making sure that everything is ticking away. Then what you can do is focus on building out your offers. You don't want to just run with one script, you just run with one offer. You should be testing out multiple scripts and making sure that you have a testing protocol in place. This is where Claude, and other AI tools that connect directly up into Instantly work really well. You can be pulling the data that's coming out of Instantly. You can be analyzing it with Claude. And especially when you're sending a large amount of emails, that amount of data needs to be processed, looked at. And essentially it becomes, like I said, a marketing platform. You're managing a lot of data. You're assessing the results. You're seeing what's working, and then you're scaling off the back of it. So either you're hiring someone in-house to handle this dedicated system, or you're contacting an agency like ours to come in and do this for you. Okay, at this level you really need someone dedicated to do it. Set this up properly yourself. Now, Playbook B, and this would be step 5 here. If you have a smaller TAM, and again, this is most companies that I speak to, they have much smaller TAMs than they expect. This is when you should be going for a signal-led ABM approach. This means a much slower, more tactical, multi-channel approach that is much more personalized, more context-led. Okay, so again, we've mapped out our TAM with Clay, so we know how many accounts exist within that space. Then rack signals on top of that on those accounts so that the reps who are going after those accounts, because again, you should be using reps if you're doing signal-led ABM approach. You need a human in the loop, okay? A human in every single channel. You don't want automation here. You want someone on the phone writing emails, again, following a cadence with guidance using AI, but not fully automated without a human in the loop. Okay, be tracking signals, things like hiring for key roles, funding rounds, leadership changes, tech stack migration, website visits, LinkedIn engagement. But the beautiful thing with White Whale is we can do completely custom signals as well. So we can write in natural language the exact signals that we should be going after, monitoring for these live buying signals. The goal here is to have a ranked account list with signal scores updated continuously. So your reps log into HubSpot every single morning. They're not wasting the time logging into 15 different apps. They log in and they see which accounts they need to go after on a daily basis. Okay, this is what's happening. This is the context behind it. These are the live signals that they're seeing. This is a contextual summary of all of those signals, and this is how I should approach the situation. So when they do jump on the phone and a decision maker, Acme Corp, picks up, they can have a really intelligent conversation. They can shock that person with how intelligent they are, and they get a much higher chance of converting that person. When you've got a small TAM, the conversion rate percentage needs to be going up and up. You need to be converting at a much higher level than if you were to be doing just automated cold outbound. Okay, now the next step here is signal alerts where your reps already work. So I've got ASIO here, but it could be any other CRM, HubSpot, Salesforce, it doesn't really matter. And then Slack or Teams, most teams we work with are using Slack, pushing those live buying signals into the channels where the reps work, alerting them in their CRM so they know that when something hot comes through, something live comes through, they can go after it. It can be 2 p.m. They're getting a buzz. This company that's in your territory, that is a hot account when you're in your space, has just shown this key buying signal that 8 out of 10 times when a company shows it, they're closing. Okay, when you see that, a rep's going to be going, I need to go after this account, and they'll go after it. Now, why do reps need this? Why do they need this ABM approach? Step 8 here. Without having a proper go-to-market framework, your reps are spending hours researching accounts. They're wasting their time. They're coming in every morning. They're sipping their coffee on LinkedIn, scrolling. This prospect has just started a new job. They're wasting their time, and they're wasting your time and your money as well. They're context switching between tools. They're building lists manually, guessing which prospects are in market. They're doing CRM admin, repetitive tasks, and less time spent selling. The result here, if you follow this situation, which is most companies that I speak to in the traditional way that sales reps operate, you get a much lower revenue per rep to the point where it's almost becoming unsustainable these days. Now, with a signal-led go-to-market framework, your reps get prioritized accounts delivered daily. They get buying signals that are already identified. They're getting contact data that's already enriched. Their cadences and their workflows are already prepared. Okay, they've got minimal context switching here. They don't need to be switching between different tools. They just log into HubSpot, maybe a dialer that's living in HubSpot and Slack, and that's all they need to do. Maybe they've got a LinkedIn tab open if they want to write a post of the day. Okay, it means that you get much more conversations with the right accounts. So the result is more pipeline from the same team, and the profitability per rep goes up and up. If you watching this right now, it means that you're getting more revenue per rep, faster onboarding for new hires, less operational waste, a repeatable process across the team, and you can scale without adding headcount unnecessarily. So you don't need to sit there and think, God, I've got this new quota that's come through from the boss. I'm going to have to go out and hire 5 new reps, but I know the profitability per rep is going down. No, with this system, the exact system that we installed for our client Verifile to generate $2.2 million worth of pipeline within just 90 days. Okay, if you install this system, the profitability per rep, and then that means that your neck is not on the chopping line, and you can go into board meetings and say, I'm doing great, profitability's up, we're generating more pipeline than ever, we don't need to hire anyone else. So we can spend that budget on a team offsite, and we can all fly out to the south of France. If you like this video and you are interested in getting a system just like this installed into your business, it is the first link in the bio. And if you are interested in having a chat with White Whale, which is the Signal tool there, that'll be the second link in the bio as well. Hope you enjoyed. Speak soon.